Welcome everybody back to tacosandgeeks.com. Justin here. Tuck, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
And today we're going to be reviewing Legion of Superheroes from DC. And as always, I give you a brief synopsis. So here we go. Kara, devastated by the loss of Krypton, struggles to adjust to her new life on Earth. Superman mentors her. Meanwhile, she must contend with a mysterious group called the Dark Circle, who searches for a powerful weapon held in Academy's vault. Um, this was it was okay. I'm gonna throw the ball to you first because I'm really curious to see what you thought about it, and then I'll ping off of you.
Okay. Well, anybody who's ever watched the Legion of Superheroes series that was on, WB back in the days, this should be something a little nostalgic for you because it kind of follows the same characters, except some of these characters, they don't have them as full-fledged members. They actually have them as like trainees. So, for instance, in the series version, which they do keep true to from the movie. Triplicate Girl, who eventually becomes Duo Girl, or she has another name like Duo Damsel or something like that.
Yeah.
They actually keep to that in this movie, but instead of her being a full-fledged member of the Legion of Superheroes, she's a trainee. And actually, what's crazy about it is the trainees that they have in there, they don't ever believe they're going to become full-fledged members. So they kind of switch it up a little bit because, like I said, the series, a lot of the characters that are in this movie are already full-fledged members, and it kind of switches it up a little because it's Kara instead of Superman being brought back, being shot ahead in time and brought to that time zone. Because if you remember the series, Superman actually gets swept up into that time zone and he
Yeah.
actually spends time there. And then they actually find a future Superman that's like, I think it's immune to kryptonite, same age as him, that they're gonna use, but they use Kara for this instead. And it was a good twist to it. I did like the animation style, and I say that because I watched Battle of the Super Sons, and that animation style I'm not too into. The story was great for that, but I wasn't into the animation style. This one, I really think it kind of looked like All Star Superman
Yeah.
animation, which was really good. And I did love the story arc. I love the fact that they had the Justice League members in there here and there.
Yeah.
Batman is still who he is, brooding. Still gonna miss Kevin Conroy as the voice. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
And um, overall, they kind of kept to the same story because even in the series, nobody could trust Brainiac, even though he wasn't Brainiac from the past timeline. He was Brainiac. I think in this one they said he was Brainiac. Did they say he was
Brainiac 5.
okay? Yeah. So in the series, he's Brainiac 5 also. And he's the only difference between this and that series, and I don't want to give too much away, is that Brainiac 5 in the series actually does exactly what they were afraid he was going to do. And in this one, there's a different outcome. Um, there are some parts that were a little predictable.
Yeah. Like,
The,
especially the ending.
yeah, like it got a little predictable with the true villain of the movie. Um, a lot was I did like a lot of the story in the middle. I love the fact that Kara has to find herself. They did keep to one thing I did love is they kept to the story of doing what Man of Steel did. They
Yeah.
told the story of Kara while she was on Krypton before she got there. Still kept true to the story that she was supposed to be on Earth first, but she gets thrown off course. She gets there years later after Kal-El has now become a man and he's the
Mm.
Superman, and now she has to learn from him. Um, she's very awkward with her powers. They
It,
did keep where she wasn't, where she didn't. She was still old enough and used to Krypton. So when she gets to Earth, she's just like, okay, how come things don't work like Krypton? And I thought that was a cool twist to it. And for him to come up with a way to send her someplace to train her, because of course, Batman's paranoid ass is like, yo, she's gonna be coming
yeah.
in if you don't train her. And Kal-El finds a way to send her someplace where she can get the training she needs so she can become the hero she's supposed to.
And just to piggyback off what you were saying, the Kara stuff is exactly why I was kind of mixed with it. Not because I love the fact that she's the lead, but because it was such a better story when they were just focusing on her origin and how she was dealing with adjusting to Earth. And it was just like I would have just loved this to be a Supergirl animation full-fledged movie without the Legion of Superheroes. And I think I would have been and you could have still included Brainiac within that whole mythos. And I think for me, it would have just been a better film if you would have just focused on the early stages and early years of Supergirl when she came to Earth. She's trying to adapt, dealing with a baby cousin now that's a full fledged man, and he's this symbol of hope. And then you got Batman's paranoid ass. Yeah, I know they did. I know for people who's going to be in the comments, like they did this with I think it's not Public Enemies, the one with the apocalypse when she was there and
Oh, yeah,
Batman didn't trust her.
Superman, Batman, Apocalypse. Yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, I know they did that before, but I personally, the way the story was, I was more immersed in the first 15, 20 minutes of the film than once she got to century 31, the 31st century. That's when it for me kind of like it started into the cliche, the predictability started to kick in. It's not saying it's a bad film, but it's just like when that started to happen, I was just like, okay, I can see this miles away. One thing I did like was the fact when about Brainiac 5, there was just like, oh, there was four before him, and one became like it was describing the other Brainiacs, like their biggest fears, like, oh, one tried to take over the planet. Oh, but Brainiac 4, oh yeah, that one's just a straight serial killer.
yeah. Like they didn't hold anything back. They were like one was an assassin,
Yeah.
one was a dictator, and one was just a straight psychopath serial killer, and that was it.
Yeah, that probably be that. It's like, oh, what that one happened? What that one do? Oh, that one's just a straight serial killer. Like,
Yeah.
straight from the jump.
And then also they kept them as like this Brainiac 5 was the only 12th level intellect. The rest of them were
Yeah.
10th level intellects. So obviously he was the superior one.
And I also agree with you when it came to the animation. I love the animations, very comic book s type of aesthetics. That works very well. Not too much heavy on the action, is that what you expect from the DC animation front, but it still has a decent enough story to keep you immersed. If you could look past the upcoming twists and cliches, especially if you know these characters, you know there's going to be they do a little bit enough to try to keep the casual audience guessing. But if you know certain characters, you're like, okay, you can already tell this guy's going to be the bad guy, or you can tell you can smell the twist a mile away.
Yeah. And see, for me, it was different. Like the beginning, I was like, okay, I didn't want to because I watched Batman Superman Apocalypse, I didn't want to
Yeah,
see the whole Kara being mistrusted, even though in that movie they didn't really mistrust Kara.
yeah,
They just she was more powerful than Clark only because she was younger. She was a younger Kryptonian. So Batman said she absorbs the sun and her cells are just younger and they absorb everything better. So she's a little more powerful.
yeah.
But with this one, I was just like the whining and pouting. I didn't want to do in the beginning because that's the problem I have with season 2 of Stargirl.
Mm.
Like she's just whiny and pouty instead of just being who she is. And this one, when she got to the Legion, I was like, okay, it was cool because you could tell they use a little bit of she's a teenager, she's meeting people her own age,
Yeah,
she's getting to know everybody, and it was cute. And I didn't have a problem with it. The fight scene with Brainiac in the first scene was so well done.
yeah,
And I was like, okay, this is going to be exciting from beginning to end. And the little montage of them having to work together all the time and their back and forth was really good. But yeah, you're right. As it went on, it got a little predictable.
yeah.
Um, but it didn't take too much away from the story. You didn't feel like, okay, well, this is too predictable. I don't want to. I'm bored with this. It kept me interested all the way from beginning to end. So I I had
So
no real problems with the movie. The
so
way
what will you give it? We will do
I would
letters and we'll do like a star system, like
I'll
grade
do
wise.
stars. I actually can say I'd give this 4 stars is stretching it, but I'll give it 4 stars. It's more of a three
Yeah,
and a half, but I'll give it
yeah.
4 stars because it was a nice it's just DC just does animation so well. And I can't their storytelling is great. And I don't have a problem with this. This was entertaining. It wasn't too long. It wasn't
No.
drawn out. It wasn't too long. And it was just, it's well told. I think kids will love it. Um, they do enough about to give a lot of equality. They did a little race swapping with a few of the characters, which still didn't bother it because you wouldn't notice it unless, like I said,
Yeah.
unless you watch the original series from Warner Brothers that used to come on Saturday mornings. You really won't know, or it won't be a difference. And they actually, the swap made the character a little better for
Okay.
for some of them. Like I said, it was still a very well done story.
And I'm gonna actually go with your other score. I'm gonna give this 3.5 stars. I thought the voice acting was good. I really did enjoy the voice acting. Jensen, what's his name? Jensen Eccles, from Supernatural, plays Batman, still is doing a good job. Boomer as the Flash. But definitely gotta give the credit to Meg Donnelly, who plays Supergirl. She really did an excellent job. And of course, Darren Criss as Superman. We had Robbie Damon as Timberwolf. So I mean, the cast was really good. Animation's good. Like I said, I would give it 4 stars if the story wasn't as predictable and cliche, but I did enjoy this. I'm excited to see what they're gonna do with this. We will find out, of course, as we know that big announcement happened. But you guys stay tuned for that. We have another video for that coming soon. So this is Justin and Sean from TheToxicGeeks.com. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. Hit that notification bell. Most importantly, visit thetoxicgeeks.com. And if you're watching this on ONG, by all means, browse the website, check out our interviews, our editorials, everything else. We will catch you on the next review. Stay tuned. The hour is coming back. Later days.
Later.